Good morning, Christina. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing well. We're super excited to be back with you to find out everything about Mount Rainier and kind of what we got going forward. Some exciting fun that you and I and the rest of hopefully Team Eastern are going to be participating in September. But figured we'd jump right in and find out about your climb and see how that Eastern jacket held up.
Yeah, probably about a month ago now, we flew out to Seattle and we got there. We got our rental car. We just kind of hung out in Seattle for the day, went and saw the Space Needle, did all the touristy things. And then we drove up to our Airbnb closer to Rainier. And honestly, like the first 2 or 3 days, we just kind of like tried to get organized because we had so much gear with us. We had like 4 suitcases and tons of stuff. So we were just trying to organize like, okay, what do we need to bring for the climb? What do we have for separate days? And just trying to organize. The first technical day of the experience, not technically the climb, was an evening gear check with RMI. And we essentially got to meet the whole team. We went over and they went through the list of stuff that we needed. We made sure that we didn't need to buy anything before the climb. And then the next day we had our mountaineering school, which was super fun. So we like met at the base of the mountain and we hiked a very short distance in, but we all got to practice like self-arresting with our ice axes just in case we fell, and walking with crampons on snow fields, and wearing the harness and working with the ropes and everything. So that was a really awesome experience as well. And then the next day we started the actual climb. So we all met, I think it was at like 8 o'clock. So we didn't start too early, which I'm used to. So it was a little awkward and weird for me. But the first day we hiked 4,000 feet up, pretty much a bunch of snow fields. And it was actually in record heat. So everything was melting and it was super slushy. Everyone's boots were getting wet. But we hiked 4,000 feet up to Camp Muir, which is basically this like little shack on the side of the mountain. And there's bathrooms, which is cool, but it's actually, I don't know if it melts or what, but there's actually no snow there. So it's all on rock and it's all snowfields below and then all like glaciers and crevasses above. So we stayed there. We got in probably around 3 p.m. And then because it was so hot, the guides were really worried about ice fall and everything the next day. So they're like, okay, we're getting you up super early. And by super early, we mean really late because they actually woke us up at 11 p.m. that same day to go up to the summit. So we all got up. And then, we roped up after getting all our stuff together. We were able to leave our sleeping bags and everything at Camp Muir. So that was really awesome to be able to save weight. But we all clipped into our ropes and then we started heading up to the summit at 12 in the morning. And yeah, it was really amazing. I had never done any rope travel before. And it was different because when you walk on a rope, like the rope needs to be stretched out. So there's quite a bit of space in between everyone, just in case somebody falls in a crevasse or something, there's not a whole lot of slack. So, if somebody falls, it doesn't pull super hard on the next person or whatever. But that was a really interesting experience. We actually, because it was so early or late, it was obviously dark and most of our climb to the summit was in the dark, but it was kind of moonlit. So as soon as we left Camp Muir, I looked to the right and I saw this giant crevasse in the dark, which may have been a good thing that it was in the dark. But yeah, so probably it was at our last break and we took 4 breaks on the way up. We saw the sunrise and it was like one of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever seen. It was like so perfectly clear. We were up higher than anything else and we saw the first light on the horizon. And honestly, the thing that I remember the most is like the sun hitting my face and feeling the warmth because everybody was like so cold by then. And yeah, just feeling the warmth of the sun on my face and seeing like the whole world light up in front of me it was really amazing. Then we got to the summit crater because it's a volcano at like 5:45 in the morning. And yeah, just cresting over that, it was super cool because obviously I've never stood on top of a volcano before. But the middle was actually snow covered, so you could walk across it, and then around the edges were steam vents. So every once in a while, you could see like steam coming out of the sides.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was really cool. And then a small group of us went over to the technical high point of the mountain called Columbia Crest. And then from that point, we all headed down, and nobody really felt any altitude, which was pretty crazy, considering how fast we gained the elevation. And it was a beautiful climb.
So put it into perspective for everybody that's watching that's from New England, lived in New England their entire life, and might have missed our first videos and or our posts. Like what between Mount Washington and some of your other New England climbs, what's the big difference?
Yeah, so for Mount Washington in the summer, obviously it's hugely different because there's no snow. But the terrain on our side of the country is it's much more technical. So I would say anything out west, for the most part, if it's not a technical climb, is a very gradual incline. There's not a lot of like rocks or roots in the way. Whereas if you think about a hike here, it's like, okay, you're literally stepping up these huge boulders to get up to the summit, and it's just rocks. There's no trail. So I would say that as far as like the terrain, we probably have it harder over here. But as far as like the actual climb, when you climb Mount Washington, you only gain like 4,000 feet, which is a lot. Like, I'm not saying it's not. That's a really hard climb. But out there, we went from, I think we gained like 9,000 feet in under 24 hours. And I think that's partially due to the heat wave. And they wanted to get us up like in the middle of the night, basically, to try to avoid the sun coming up in the middle of our climb and heating everything and all of that. But yeah, it's about a little over twice as much elevation gain. And then as far as using like crampons and ice axes, that's pretty common to use on Mount Washington in the winter, but you don't see a lot of ropes because we don't have crevasses like they do on the actual glaciers out on Rainier.
Wow. Okay. And should climbing and getting to the top of a volcano be on everybody's bucket list now that you've done it?
I think so. It was very cool. I honestly forgot it was a volcano until I got up there. And then it just like opened up, and it's so different because like when you climb to the top of a peak, like you're on the peak and that's it. And it's usually fairly small because you're at the top. And when you like crest over the side of this volcano, it's just like this huge open circle of like steam and whatever else is going on under there. And it's a very cool and slightly eerie feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of steam and heat, how did our Eastern jacket hold up?
It
Did
was
you do more?
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guides recommend that at every single break we took, the absolute first thing we would do is put on our jackets. So yeah, it was awesome. Even with the heat wave out there, I think the freezing level was above 18,000 feet the day that we summited, which broke records. But yeah, the jacket was amazing. It was pretty windy in some sections, so it felt colder than it actually was. And I saw quite a few people shivering, but I was not. So I really appreciate Eastern, providing the jacket. It held up amazing. It was super light and easy to carry. So yeah, it was perfect.
Perfect. That's good to hear. Now, before we talk about what's next for Christina and Eastern, what is next for Christina?
So I am hoping next year, I've been trying to do a big climb every year, and I'm hoping next year, provided the COVID situation is more under control, I would really like to get into a different country somewhere. And I don't know, I've been thinking about like Kilimanjaro in Africa, or potentially Aconcagua in South America in the Andes. So both of those are around 20,000 or a little over feet. So it'd be like a step up in elevation, and a step up in, I guess, the South America one would be more technically challenging. Kilimanjaro is cool because you go through 5 different ecosystems on the way up.
Wow.
So yeah, so those are at the top of my list. Hopefully I can get my first 7 summit next year. That would be awesome. But yeah, we'll see. We'll take it by stride. If things aren't better, hopefully they are. But if they're not, we can figure something cool out to do in the US. So something,
Nice.
something good will be coming up.
And speaking of something, Sunday, September 19th, you're going to
Yeah.
join us and anybody from Team Eastern and anybody that is a customer or a friend, live in our neighborhoods, etc., on a fun little hike. Tell us where we're going, what to expect, and start that packing list for us.
Yeah, so we are going to be going to the Belknap Range in the Lakes region. I really like that range because it packs some of the best views, like that rival the Whites, but they're a little bit more mild and there's no boulder fields to step on. So yeah, we're going to be climbing Belknap Mountain and Gunstock. I'm sure a lot of people are probably more familiar with Gunstock because it's a ski mountain, but both mountains have great views at the top because Gunstock is a ski mountain that's very open. And then Belknap Mountain actually has a fire tower at the top that you can climb. So the hike is about 4 miles and about 1,500 feet of gain. And it should be a really awesome hike for all of our families involved with Eastern.
Perfect, love it. And is a small propane portable grill in the works? That way we can grill and cook out with a view.
For sure. That sounds like a perfect addition to our hike.
Hot dogs and veggie dogs for everybody, right?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Well, it was great to catch up. I'm super excited personally for the 19th. It's going to be a family affair for me. We welcome anybody and everybody that is watching this or gets their hands on this video that wants to join us to pencil us in on the calendar. And more info on Sunday, September 19th will be coming out soon. Christina's going to provide us with a packing list and be our tour guide and make sure we all safely get to the top.
Yeah, the more the merrier. And I will be giving everybody all the stuff that they need, packing lists, information on the hike, whatever questions are asked. So it should be a good day.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. Thanks for starting your morning with me. And we'll do this again soon. And I look forward to seeing you again in person on the 19th.
Yes, definitely. Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks, Christina. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.